Hey, there's our first catch. Yeah, he's in the boat. We'll just set up on this little pile right here. And I'm going to chop him up real quick and put him on a hook. Oh my goodness, this might just be full of sunfish for bait. I'll have to switch to a smaller hook. I don't even know how that first sunfish got that hook in, but yeah, it's full of sunfish. I got a smaller hook on the other one now. I broke off at a spot, and I don't want to dig through the bottom of my bag, but I'm gonna get him on as a live bait and toss him out there in that little wood pile. See if there's any flatheads sitting in there feeding on these guys. But yep, I'll be back. Oh, dang. I don't know what that was. That had some pull to it. I'm thinking it's probably a catfish. Just using little bits of worm. Because, you know, I tossed that bluegill down with that little sunfish on the deck and it disappeared. I don't know where it went. So I'm trying to catch me another one real fast. And something tells me that there are some catfish sitting in here. I might take a little bit of that Asian carp, slice a little piece off, toss it out there too, just see if they'll hit that. But I'm gonna toss a worm back out and see if I can get me a little piece of live bait, or I can get that cat that missed. But I'm assuming it was a cat. It definitely wasn't a bluegill or anything. I've caught a few of those. I know how those pull. I mean, it wasn't a monster catfish. Right there. So I'm gonna cut me off a little piece of this and put it on my other ugly stick. I don't think it's gonna need to be a big piece. Oh, something a little bigger than a bluegill. I did get another little flathead. So there's flatheads hiding in here. Look at that. Little piece of worm. I do have a live bluegill on my bigger rod, sitting closer to that. Sitting closer over to that log. Look at that. Little piece of worm. Little hook. I was trying to just catch a bunch more bluegill, but little flathead, not bad looking. I like the colors on him. These are these are definitely my top love to catch fish. They put up a real good fight, especially when they're bigger. But yeah, these guys are great. But a nice little guy. That big old flathead there. Yeah, he's looking good. I'm gonna put him back. Let him go back to his wood pile. And when I was coming up to this spot, there's just a ton of big boulders and it looked like little deep pockets of you couldn't see the bottom in between the boulders and stuff. I did not bring my anchor. If I brought my anchor, I would have dropped a live bait or two straight down those holes, see if there's any cats sitting in there. But I did not bring an anchor, I just brought my clip. But hey, we've got one flathead down. Let's see if we can find mom and pop. That's what we're looking for. I actually just came looking for channel cats, but anytime I see brush piles and boulders and stuff, I'll try to throw some live baits out and stuff, see if I can get me some flatheads or not. See if they're sitting in there. So that little chunk of Asian carp, it had a little bitty tap, but I have no idea what it could have been. Nothing serious about it yet, but it's still sitting down there. It's over in the corner by the log over there. Sorry, turn this camera here. Yeah, it's sitting over there in that corner. Then the live bait's sitting right out there. I might move the live bait a little bit more over here. I'm gonna give it a little bit sitting there. He's still pulling, so I know he's still alive. But I'm gonna keep trying to catch some bluegill. I did bring my my net. I can keep them in, keep them alive. But we're gonna sit here a little longer. And we did hook into at least one flathead. Alright, had to make a little move. I tried to toss it a little closer to this corner here and got stuck on this branch here. So I just paddled over, moved here, and I just have it drop straight down underneath that log. And I've got the Asian carp up there. I'm gonna probably put on another little piece of worm and just play with it out here and see what else is sitting in here. I know there's lots of little bluegill. I finally caught, one little bit bigger bluegill. Everything else has been like this. So try to get me a few more of that size while we're sitting here messing around. So I'm gonna give it another 15-20 minutes, and then we're gonna move on down, look for another spot that looks good. I mean, there is a lot of brush that away, but I think I can see the bottom, so I think it's real shallow over there. I think this has been the deepest spot I've found so far, just down from the bridge. But I'm gonna keep going down until we find something else that looks good, until we get to Big Piney. And then we're gonna go into Big Piney where all those boulders were a couple videos back, and we're gonna fish those boulders. The current shouldn't be as strong this time, so I should be able to be right on top of the boulders and not throw my bait towards them and watch them drift all the way down. So I want to sit on those boulders and see what we can get. But yeah, the bluegill's just suspended with a little bit of weight down there, flopping around. So hopefully there's a bigger flathead down there that's motivated to eat. All right, it is very shallow all the way going through there. I had to walk most of it. But we're here next to all these big boulders. It's not very deep. Last time I was here, it was, evening time, so channels and stuff were moving in. So we're gonna fish it for a little bit regardless. I'm gonna put a live bait over there, and then the rest I'm just gonna probably cut up. I do got a couple bluegill that are still lively. There was a lot of spots I had to get out and just pull the kayak through just because of how shallow it was. So I'm gonna throw a couple cut baits out, or a live bait, a cut bait, and probably toss a worm out to see what's in here. I'm gonna try to put them as close to the bigger rocks that I can. I don't think these go very deep after getting closer and looking at them, but hey, we're gonna give it a whirl. You never know what could be in here. Might try to go a little further up this stream to see if I can find any holes. If not, I'll just go out to the end where it dumps into the other river, and we'll see what we can catch in there. If there's a deep hole. There may not be a deep hole down there. There's only one way to find out, and that's to go explore and see. So that's one of the fun parts about fishing for me, is I just love being able to get out, be able to go explore, find new things, see where they like to sit out in different parts of river sections, because it's always different in every river section. I find there's never just they're always in this one type of spot. They're always somewhere, that's for sure. But I'm gonna grab me one of these bluegill that aren't doing so great anymore. Oh, nope, he still has a little bit of kick to him. I'm just going to hook him under the gill and then up close to the nose. If I can get it out the nose, perfect. Out through the nose. And I'm just Carolina rig. I didn't bring any of my other poles, and these were already rigged up to Carolina. We'll put that over there. I didn't want to change them all out with bobbers or floats and all that, so we'll just put that down there for now. We'll put a worm on this. I do have that one bait out there, the Asian carp. See if anything wants to hit on that. If anything in here, more than likely I'm going to get an Asian carp out of it, or not an Asian carp, but a regular carp out of here, or maybe a giant sucker. There were a ton in the shallows. I did not bring any of my rigs for that or bait for that. That would have been, there were a ton in there. That would have been fun time just catching those. There were some monsters just swimming around in there, having a good old time. Let's get this worm out. And then I will possibly put a piece of cut bait out here in a little bit. That was on the wrong side, but whatever. All right. Well, hopefully we'll be back with a hit or two. Oh, that looks like possibly is that a catfish or a sucker? I don't know. It hit it pretty hard. Well, it took it down pretty hard. It came up, stayed near the top for a little bit, so it may have been a sucker. I don't know. Oh, there's already something hitting on it again. Oh, there we go. That seems a little bit bigger. And that's a gar. He hit it on the way down. I've got my pliers today handy. There he is. You almost let go of the hook. Well, there he is. There he goes. We got something on the worm. Stay up out of there. A bunch of rocks in there. It collected a stick. It is a catfish. Got him in. Good eater sized channel. Yeah. Yeah, good eater sized channel right there. I might keep him. Might do a little fish fry this weekend. Going fly fishing this weekend with some friends. And I guess when we're done doing that, we're gonna fry some catfish. If I can catch a couple more of them, about 3 more that size, I think would be perfect. So, you got one cat. Let's say this spot is a little deeper. I am going to move, since I still have this bait on here. Still like it's holding on good. I'm gonna toss this over there and see if they'll hit that prepared Asian blood flavored carp. And it still has some strong scent to it. I could smell it while paddling over here. So we're gonna keep giving it a chance. I would like to hope that does good. They're like, I think $10 a bag for a bunch of pieces, a bunch of chunk pieces, and if I use them for channels, I can cut that up a whole. Each piece will give me a whole bunch. So we're gonna toss it over there and see if it still wants to, or see if the catfish will hit it. I'll say it has a strong scent. I just don't know what type of blood is on it. That bluegill still flopping around. I don't know if that was him or something a little bigger. Line is getting a little loose. Let's tighten it up a little bit. Oh, another hit on the worm. Might have to just swap everything out for worms. That seems to be the play. Oh, it's a bass. Ugh. It is a bass. Well, there he is. It's not a rock bass. It might be a rock bass. Or a smallie. It might be a smallie, but he's going to go back. I think there's a size limit on this river, but he's not big enough to get any big fillets out of the worry about anyway, so let him go. I mean, there are a ton of little minnows in here. He's probably having a heyday out there just chowing down on those. Put you back out there. Oh, looks like another cat being chased by a gar. Get out of here. There are cats here. They haven't been very big yet. Whoop. Well, he has been released. They haven't been very big yet. But there are cats. So this has been the deepest pool within like a mile or so, or two. So there might be a lot of mixed fish in here just because of that. That line went slack while I was rigging up the other one end. Another cat. This is a good size one to fry whole. The only problem is I don't have anything to skin them with really, but you can fry them whole. And they're definitely not taken down. You just see it go slack a little bit and then there's a fish on the end. Oh, looks like another bass. Definitely another bass. Ah, son. Oof, that didn't go in too deep. Stung a little. Huh? It's 2 bass caught. Not the target species, but they're biting. I do have some rigs for bass. I could do a little fishing. I don't know if you can see. Look at all these minnows swimming in the water. Don't know if you can see them. There are a ton. I think they'd be more focused on those. Oh, that's a fish. Caught him while it was still drifting down. Just bouncing off the bottom, and there at the very end it just started going. It's a cat. And he looks like he has swallowed that hook. Not a lefty. This isn't going too well. It's the small ones you got to worry about. They got them sharp spines. That hook is way down there, so he's going to go away with a new piercing. There he is. I am using they're a silver one, but they break down faster. All my smaller hooks are that way, because a lot of fish like to swallow the smaller hooks. So all my smaller hooks are break down faster, so they don't have them in them as long. Don't know, well, the wind just blurred all the water. Don't know if you can see him. Big smallmouth right there. Just cruising in those minnows. There's another smallmouth with him. Well, Dirty Whiskers, I am calling it. I've got to walk this kayak upstream a little bit, and then go paddle for a little bit, and then walk it back upstream because it gets real narrow and there's a bunch of logs in the way. So I am making my way upstream. It's gonna take a little while, but it was a fun adventure. The water is very nice. I wouldn't say it's cold, I wouldn't say it's hot. Somewhere just below the not comfortable level, you know, when you get in the water and it's really warm. This is like just right, I think, especially through these shallows. But I gotta haul this thing, and I forgot my rope, so I'm gonna be crunched down this whole time, dragging. Luckily it's not too super shallow where I'm actually having to pull the whole weight of this kayak. It is a heavy kayak. When I get my new kayak, the Flux Jet, it will have a motor just above the scraping surface, so that will definitely help get it through these shallows. Just turn the motor on a little bit and drag. But I'm gonna call it here. This was one of the spots I was fishing. Well, I know when the water's high, I know where I'm gonna come. It looks like it's deep over there with a bunch of debris, so just gotta remember I do have a micro anchor power pole, micro power pole. Used to be attached on my old town. I'm using the wife's until my new kayak gets here, but I'm not slotted for another 2 months, so I'm supposed to be getting mine, and that is exciting because I'm going to deck it all out, put the fish finder on it, put all my rod holders on it, and yeah, my fish finder is going to have side scan, which is the main thing I use because I like to look for the structure that's underneath the water, big piles of rocks or big piles of trees that are just downed in there, and that's what I like to focus my fishing on. But without it, it's just move some and fish some, and that's always fun because you never know what you're going to catch. We did catch that one flathead, which I love catching flatheads. But that is going to be it for today. I might, while going through the deeper parts paddling, turn my rod holders out, put some worms on, and just kind of slowly paddle back and just let the weights bounce and the worms bounce off the bottom. See if we can pick anything up. If I do, I'll hit record and show y'all. But until then, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.